Okay, let's get into it. Today is June 5th, 2025, and yeah, something pretty massive just landed in the gaming world. The Nintendo Switch 2 is officially out.
It is, and it feels like a significant moment. You're probably hearing all the buzz about the system itself and, well, one game in particular that's really leading the way.
Absolutely, because launching right with a console is Mario Kart World. And this isn't just another Mario Kart, right? Everything points to it being a huge change for the series.
Oh, totally transformative, I think is the word. So
Mhm.
yeah, our plan today is to really dive deep into what this whole launch package means. We'll look at the new console hardware, the features.
And figure out what Mario Kart World's big ideas actually mean for, how you play it.
Exactly. And then look beyond Mario Kart 2. The launch lineup is surprisingly stacked. And just get a feel for the excitement, the discussions happening right now.
Right. So you get a really clear picture of what's hitting the shelves today and maybe what it signals for Nintendo going forward.
Let's do it.
All right, Switch 2 is in hand. Hardware upgrades. What's the big headline? What jumps out first?
Well, right away, you'll notice the display. Handheld mode, the screen's bigger, and it's 1080p now, so crisper.
Okay, 1080p handheld and docked?
Docked, it can push up to 4K resolution to your TV. And it hits 60 frames per second at 4K max.
Wow. Okay. And I heard frame rates can go even higher, like
Yeah.
120 FPS in some games, plus HDR and VR support. That feels like a major jump for a Nintendo device like this.
It really is. It's not just sharper, it's potentially way smoother, more vibrant colors, the whole package.
Yeah, makes a difference.
And storage, they definitely heard the feedback. The Switch 2 ships with 256 gigs internal.
Whoa, 256. That's what, 8 times the original?
8 times, yeah. So that helps a lot right out of the box.
Addresses a big pain point.
Yeah.
What about adding more storage? Still micro SD.
It is, but here's the catch. You need the new microSD Express cards. They're faster, which the system needs.
So my old cards won't cut it for expansion.
Nope. Need the new Express ones for adding space. Good thing to know.
Definitely. Anything else on the hardware front? Audio, power.
Audio's improved. They're saying it's crisp, natural sounding, and it supports 3D spatial sound.
Oh, nice. So with headphones.
Yeah, or maybe even the built-in speakers sometimes. Things sound like they're coming from specific spots around you,
Mm-hmm.
much more immersive. And yeah, of course, more processing power under the hood means developers can do more with graphics, bigger worlds, that kind of thing.
Okay, let's talk design. The Joy-Cons are iconic. What's the deal with the Joy-Con 2s?
Big change in how they attach. They use magnets now, just snap right on.
Huh, magnetic? Simply? No more rails?
No more rails, just a clean snap. Secure.
But I read something unexpected
Mm.
about what these new controllers can do.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets kind of wild. The Joy-Con 2s, they have a mouse sensor built into the side.
A mouse sensor? What?
Yeah, so in games or software that supports it, you can put a Joy-Con 2 flat on a Surface desk, leg, whatever, and use it like a mouse, a pointer.
Seriously, point and click on the Switch 2 screen with a Joy-Con.
Exactly. And some things might even let you use both Joy-Con 2s at the same time, like dual-hand mouse control.
Whoa,
Hmm.
that's different.
Yeah,
Really opens up possibilities beyond just standard games, doesn't it?
it really does. Feels like Nintendo's thinking about how this device could be used in new ways.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any other physical changes, like the kickstand? That was always a bit flimsy.
Oh, yeah, they fixed that. The kickstand is way better, much sturdier, adjustable through like 150 degrees. So tabletop mode is actually practical now.
Finally. Good.
And another convenient touch, there are 2 USB-C ports now. One on the bottom, like before, but also one on the top.
Oh, that's smart. So you can charge it while it's propped up in tabletop mode without the cable getting in the way.
Exactly. Small thing, but makes a difference.
What about my old Switch games? Can I play them on the Switch too? Backward compatibility.
Yep, mostly. It's designed to play compatible games from the original Switch library. Digital games carry over, physical carts work.
Mostly. So not everything.
Nintendo did say some original Switch games might not be fully compatible or supported, so it's not quite a 100% guarantee for every single game ever released, but the vast majority should be fine.
Okay, good to know. And playing with friends online? Anything new there?
Yeah, they've built in something called GameChat. Uses a built-in mic, lets you share your screen.
Screen sharing? Cool.
Uh-huh. And you can connect a camera for optional video chat too. The idea is to make playing together feel, closer. More like you're hanging out.
Like a built-in Discord almost.
Sort of, yeah. Integrate it right into the system experience. It's going to be free for a while, through March 2026. Then it'll need a Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
Gotcha. Okay, the price. How much are we talking?
The standard system is $449,
Okay.
and there's a bundle for $499 that throws in Mario Kart World as a digital download.
And the game by itself, if you buy it digitally,
That's $80.
$80.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a price point people are
Wow.
talking about.
It is. Nintendo seems to be positioning it based on the sheer scale and what they see as the innovation in the game.
And maybe it ties into that broader picture you mentioned earlier, the third-party support.
I think so.
Yeah.
That $80 price, the mouse support, the power boost, allowing these big third-party games, it feels like they're aiming for a slightly different space this time. Observers are noting this level of third-party backing feels like something we haven't seen from Nintendo this strongly since maybe the GameCube days.
Interesting comparison.
Yeah, it suggests they might be trying to bridge the gap, between that classic Nintendo appeal and what players expect from other consoles or even PC gaming.
Right. And that strong third-party support is a big story for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the main event, the flagship title,
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be Mario Kart World.
Oh, absolutely. This is the big one, the successor to Mario Kart 8, which was just massive. And it's really meant to show off what the Switch 2 can do.
And the headline feature, the craziest change, is this idea of one huge, seamless, interconnected world. What does that actually mean when you're playing?
It fundamentally changes the structure. So those courses, they're not separate tracks anymore. They're actually linked together by roads, by different environments.
So you race between courses.
In modes like Grand Prix, yeah. You'll finish one race, drive through some kind of transition zone on the world map, and then boom, you're starting the next course. It completely changes the scale and the flow.
That sounds ambitious. And risky, maybe?
Yeah.
After Mario Kart 8 Deluxe basically perfected the old formula, why go this way?
Well, we've heard directly from the developers on this. Their thinking was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe kind of did everything you could do with that separate track design. They felt they'd hit the ceiling.
So they needed something radical.
Exactly. They wanted a completely new way for players to interact with the Mario universe through karting. New experience.
I bet pitching open-world Mario Kart internally was interesting. What was the team's reaction?
Yeah. Sounds like it was a real mix. You had the programmers immediately feeling the pressure, right? Like, how do we make this huge world run at 60 frames per second and keep split screen? That's tough.
I can imagine.
But then the art director was apparently thrilled. Just saw this enormous new canvas to paint on, New possibilities.
And the designers?
Sound team. Designers had the tricky job of balancing that open world freedom with the tight, focused racing people expect from Mario Kart. And the sound team, they had to rethink everything. How does music transition when you're driving between completely different environments? Needed new systems for all that.
Sounds like they might have even struggled with the original Switch hardware at first.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Early on, when they were targeting the original Switch, they apparently considered compromises, like maybe dropping the frame rate.
So the Switch 2 hardware wasn't just helpful, it was basically essential for this vision.
Absolutely crucial. They called the move to Switch 2 development a ray of hope. It let them hit those performance targets, 60 Fs, supporting more players in these big spaces. It enabled the whole concept, really.
Okay, so this interconnected world,
Yeah.
it's not just for linking Grand Prix races, right?
Yeah.
It opens up new game modes.
Totally. There's a new mode called Knockout Tour. Sounds pretty intense.
Knockout Tour, how's that work?
It's an elimination race across the whole world, basically. You race through checkpoints, and if you're not in a high enough position when you hit one, you're out. Last racer standing wins.
Ooh, high stakes. Sounds stressful. Is there anything more chill?
Definitely. That's where free roam mode comes in.
Aye.
This is designed to be totally relaxed, no pressure.
So you just drive around?
Pretty much. Drive anywhere in the world, explore, find cool photo spots, and you'll stumble across little mini activities.
Mini activities like what?
Things like maybe you drive over a big P-switch, and it triggers a quick challenge. Collect these coins fast, or drive through these rings against the clock. Maybe even some simple platforming stuff using your cart. It's more about discovery and just having fun in the space.
Okay, new world, new modes.
Yeah.
But how does it feel to drive? Is the core Mario Kart gameplay still there? That balance between casual fun and competitive depth?
Yeah, that was apparently a huge focus. They really wanted to keep that core feeling intact. The goal wasn't to reinvent how the carts handle, but to layer new stuff on top within this new world structure.
So what are the key new mechanics? Things you can do while driving?
Well, building on stuff we've seen maybe in spin-offs or updates, wall riding and rail riding are now, core mechanics you can do out in the world. Find a wall, drive up it, find a rail, grind on it.
Cool. How do you actually do that? New button.
There's a new move. It's called the charge jump.
Yep.
You hold down the drift button, but don't turn. Your character starts charging up this like vertical leap. Then you let go of the button to jump straight up. That's how you get onto those walls or rails. And you can also use it to dodge items, like a well-timed jump over a shell.
A charged jump. Huh. Adds a timing element. Need to plan for it.
Exactly. It takes a second or two to charge, so you need some foresight. Free roam sounds like the perfect place to practice it.
Makes sense. But the classic stuff is still there. Drifting, bikes, tricks.
Oh, yeah. All the core mechanics are back. Drifting, different vehicle types like bikes and ATVs, doing tricks off ramps, half pipes, gliding, underwater sections, anti-gravity. It's all in there. And the super fast 200cc class is back, too.
Good, good. Now, with this bigger world, you mentioned more players.
That's right. Online races can now have up to 24 drivers.
24. Double the old limit.
Yep, double Mario Kart 8's 12 players. The idea is, in these huge environments, 12 players might feel a bit sparse. Upping it to 24 keeps the races feeling lively, packed, chaotic, even classic Mario Kart energy.
Makes sense. What about the visuals and sound? Is it just sharper, or is there a specific new vibe?
The art style sounds really lively, very organic, expressive. They mentioned the vehicle designs are more rounded, almost like toys, trying to match the characters more closely. Kind of a throwback feel, maybe?
Interesting. And the sound.
Playful is the word they use. More live instruments in the music than before, apparently. And often featuring a harmonica for this bright, kind of cheerful atmosphere.
Okay, besides the New World stuff, are the traditional modes still available for people who just want, standard Mario Kart fix?
Oh, absolutely. Grand Prix back, just structured around those connected courses now. Battle mode returns with classics like Balloon Battle and Coin Runners. Time trials are there with online ghosts through NSO.
Team races.
Yep, team races too, up to 4 teams. So the core modes are definitely represented.
Any cool new vehicle types we saw?
Jet skis. Definitely saw jet skis in the footage.
Nice.
And there was a hint that maybe in free roam, you might even be able to hop into some of the really big, unique vehicles you see driving around the world, like an 18-wheeler or maybe even a submersible.
Whoa, driving a big rig in Mario Kart. That sounds kind of awesome.
Right. Could be really fun.
And for newer players or people who need a hand, accessibility options.
Still there. Smart steering to help you stay on track, auto accelerate so you don't have to hold the button, and tilt controls using the Joy-Cons are all returning options.
Great. And that GameChat feature we talked about earlier, fully integrated into Mario Kart World.
It is. Voice chat right in the game, screen sharing, optional video chat if you have a camera. They're really pushing that idea of making online play feel more social, more connected, like you're all racing together in the same room. There's even a camera play feature mentioned, putting your face on screen during races somehow.
Okay, so Mario Kart World is obviously huge, a real system seller. But what else can you play on your Switch 2 today? Is it basically just Mario Kart for the first few weeks?
No, not at all. This is where that strong third-party support really comes into play. The launch lineup for June 5th is actually surprisingly deep with major games.
Okay, like what? Give us some names.
We're talking big, demanding games you might not automatically associate with a Nintendo launch. Things like Street Fighter VI, Cyberpunk 2077, Ultimate Edition.
Wait, Cyberpunk? On Switch 2 at launch?
Yep. Also, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman World of Assassinations Signature Edition, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring 2?
And Hades II, which is huge. And even the super long-awaited Hollow Knight, Silksong, is listed as available right around launch.
Wow. Okay, that is a strong list. Playing stuff like Elden Ring or Cyberpunk portably, that's a big deal enabled by the new hardware, right? What kind of performance are we expecting for those?
For those big third-party titles, the target seems to be hovering around 40 frames per second. Which, for handheld play on games that demanding, is still pretty impressive compared to what was possible before.
Better than a slideshow, for sure.
Right. And first-party stuff like Mario Kart is aiming for that solid 60 FPS. Plus, those courts will benefit from the better screen 1080p handheld HDR VRR support where the games use it.
Okay, so that's launch day. What about the rest of 2025 from Nintendo?
The schedule fills out a bit. We know Donkey Kong Bonanza is slated for July.
Okay.
And Nintendo's also doing optimized versions or upgrades for some existing Switch hits, like an upgraded Super Mario Party Jamboree in July, and an enhanced Kirby and the Forgotten Land in August.
So making use of the new power for older games, too.
Exactly. And then later in the year, Metroid Prime 4, Still listed for 2025. People are guessing maybe August to October for that one. Fingers
The
crossed.
long. Okay, what about classic games? NSO.
Yeah, if you have the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack subscription, the Switch 2 adds GameCube games right away.
Ugh.
Which ones? Starting with some big ones. Zelda, The Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, and Soul Calibur 2.
Wind Waker. F-Zero GX.
Ah,
Okay, that's a great start for GameCube on NSO.
definitely adds value to the expansion pack on the new hardware.
Now, one thing people have noted online, no brand new mainline 2D or 3D Super Mario platformer right at launch.
That's true, yeah. No big flagship Mario platformer this time around, which is a bit unusual for a Nintendo console launch.
But plenty Mario available otherwise.
Oh, for sure. Between backward compatibility and all the classic Mario games on Nintendo Switch Online, you're definitely not lacking for Mario experiences on day one. Just not a brand new big adventure.
So, stepping back, what's the general vibe? The buzz online, what are people latching onto?
A lot of excitement about seeing existing Switch games run better. Games that maybe struggled a bit on the old hardware, like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. People are eager to see those performance boosts.
Makes sense.
There's definitely debate, as always, about ports versus exclusives at launch. But honestly, a lot of players just seem genuinely thrilled to be able to play massive games like Cyberpunk or Elden Ring on the go. That's a huge draw.
Yeah, the portability factor for those is big.
And you see tons of speculation about the future, right? What could this extra power mean for a new Smash Bros? Could we actually see Call of Duty on a Nintendo handheld again? And for people who are maybe buying their first Nintendo console with the Switch 2, this launch lineup looks incredibly diverse and appealing. Lots to jump into.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've got the Switch 2 hardware. The revolutionary Mario Kart World is surprisingly strong third-party showing. What's the big picture takeaway here?
I think the Switch 2 clearly delivers on significant hardware upgrades. Better screen, more power, smoother performance, quality of life fixes like storage and the kickstand. It's a tangible step up.
And it launches with not just a potential game changer in Mario Kart World, but also, as you said, this really robust third-party lineup. It feels like a statement from Nintendo about wanting broader software support.
And Mario Kart World itself, that shift to the open world, 24 players, the new mechanics, it's not just more Mario Kart. It's a genuinely bold reimagining of a beloved series, really leaning into the new hardware's capabilities.
Yeah. When you put it all together, the ambition of Mario Kart World, these unexpected hardware features like mouse support, the integrated social stuff like GameChat, plus this flood of major third-party games, maybe the signal here is that Nintendo's trying to stretch what we think of as a Nintendo console, or even just a handheld.
That's a really interesting way to put it. It does feel like they're blending that classic, polished Nintendo experience with things we associate more with other platforms. New input methods, more social integration, a wider variety of game genres available right away.
It prompts the question, doesn't it? Is the Switch 2 just a more powerful Switch? Or is it maybe aiming to be something broader, a more versatile device that's great for Nintendo games, sure, but maybe wants to do more, be more central to your entertainment in ways we haven't quite seen from them before?
Exactly. Is this an evolution or the start of something a bit different for Nintendo? It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Definitely something to chew on while you're exploring that massive new Mario Kart World, or maybe trying out Elden Ring on the go for the first time.